Hi, welcome to Daydreams of Quilts. I'm Anita. Today's video is about how to make your quilts last longer. So I have 7 tips plus a bonus tip for how to make your quilts last longer. First of all, only wash your quilts when needed. If they have got like pet fur on them or something, and you can just get that off with a lint roller, try to do that before throwing it in the washing machine, just to minimize the wear and tear on the quilt. Wash in a front loading machine with no agitator. That agitator can often get quilts tangled up in it and rip them, and I've seen this happen. So try to use a machine that doesn't have an agitator, and I think some of the new top load ones as well don't have an agitator, but that little thing that swishes the water around in the older machines, it's bad for quilts. So try to use a front loader. Don't wash them on hot, and don't use any bleach. Just baby detergent or Tide Free would be the best, because they don't have any dyes in them. And then when you go to dry them, this is tip number 3, dry them like tumble dry on medium heat, not on the hot setting, because the hot setting will shrink the fabrics. Don't leave the quilt in the sun or in a hot car. If you leave the quilt sitting in the back seat of your car for weeks on end, it will become bleached by the sun, and the sun can also weaken the fibers in the fabric and lead to the quilt tearing more easily. So if you need to keep a quilt in your car for emergencies, keep it rolled up in the trunk and out of the hot sun and the heat. Number 5, I know we all like to snuggle up with our pets. However, our pets have sharp teeth and claws. So I would recommend keeping the quilts away from the pets if you can. Sometimes pets, especially puppies, can get to chewing on a quilt. So try to keep the quilts away from your pets. Tip number 6, don't eat or drink over the quilt, because that can result in food being spilled on the quilt and causing stains. However, if this does happen, because we all like to cuddle up under a quilt to watch a movie and we usually have a snack, just make sure you get something like Shout and spray it on there and get it into the wash right away before the stain has time to set. And tip number 7, when your quilts are in storage, pull them out at least every 6 months and refold them, like fluff them up and refold them, so that they're not always folded on the same fold lines, because those fold lines eventually weaken the fibers in the fabric as well, and the quilts can wear out faster if they don't get refolded. And the bonus tip for really old quilts, like an antique quilt or a quilt that is not in as good a shape, try to soak it in something like soak wash or zero, or like the knitting, the stuff for soaking your knits that doesn't need to be rinsed, and then just very gently squeeze the water out of the quilt and lay it flat to dry on a clean lawn, but not in direct sun, like in the shade of a tree or the shade of a house, because if you hang it to dry, the weight of the quilt will pop the stitches and possibly rip the seams. So you want to lay it flat if you're not putting it in a dryer, but you also don't want it to get fried in the sun either. So for a really old quilt, they need extra gentle care. And so I hope this helps you to keep your quilts lasting for many, many years, and maybe even get passed down for the next generation and the generation after that. All right, enjoy your quilts. Thanks for watching. See you next time.